Okay, John, what did Kat say in the Facebook group?
Kat said, "Hi everyone, looking for a bit of advice from anyone who's been through a separation and the process of buying the other person out of a joint property, PPOR. My partner and I have just split and I would like to hopefully buy him out of our property. We've had a real estate come out to do an appraisal, but it wasn't a clear price, more of an idea of where they'd recommend starting the offers over listing price and a sales pitch. I plan to get another couple of agents through to do appraisals and evaluation done, but is there anything else I should do or consider? I'd like to be fair in regard to the price we agree on. It's a 50-50 split. That's very amicable, but also mindful of real estate agents possibly coming in with inflated prices if they think they'll get the listing. We are North Brisbane for reference. Any tips or suggestions would be much appreciated. First time in this situation, and I also never sold a property before. Thank you."
Okay, I might throw to Rach. There's a couple of moving parts here, isn't it? It's like the first time I've sold a property, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
But also there is a huge life event in the background, a separation. And I've not been through a separation and had to sell a property and all that. Rach, what are you saying to Kat?
Yeah, look, I saw this question in the Facebook group and it really sung out to me because I think a lot of your community may be heading to that point, or there might be some people that are thinking about...
Rach, our community. You're part of the money podcast world. You host the This Is Property podcast now.
Fincon's your initiation, right? You're in.
Gosh, part of our community.
Start again.
No, we keep it in the record. We don't edit podcasts anymore. We just have good content.
Well, I saw Kat's question.
And that's why Rach tagged me, everyone. If you saw Rach tag Glen James,
I did tag
I'm
you.
like, we'll talk about this on the show. So that's why.
I do think a lot of people are going to be coming up to this point, and I think for some people it can be really scary about what do I actually do when I'm separating. And I just wanted to reach out to Kat, and I think she's actually messaged me to say she's done this, but it's just your mortgage broker is actually the first point of call here, and for a couple of different reasons. Your mortgage broker can get these valuations done for you. And I think it's really important to note that, a bank valuation can be really important in these times. Sometimes it's really important to realize that real estate agents are property marketers and bank valuers are property valuers. So you want a real valuation. You don't want somebody coming in to compete for the price, hoping they're going to get a listing to try to tell you what that property's worth. You want a bank valuation, but your mortgage broker will be able to guide you through that. But they can also guide you through a few other things before you get to the legalities of separating, which is if you want to buy your partner out, you need to know, first of all, can you do that? Can you do that on your income? Can your partner use what he's getting in the separation to buy again? And I think everyone needs to know those things before they go through to the next stage.
If we are using this example just to kind of, and Cass, Kat, we may deviate from your exact question because it's just a really good discussion point. I just want to assume in this scenario that it is an amicable separation just for the sake of chatting, because in that instance, if it is amicable, both parties need to agree on a price. And if you're buying someone out, you probably want the bank vow, not the agent vow. Or do you go, we will get 3 agent vows and a bank vow and average everything out? What do we do?
Well, generally it's 2 bank valuations.
Right.
So, and I've probably gotten to the point where, I've got clients that we might have done their first home for, and then they've separated, and then they've done the buyout finance.
People might not be able to hear it. Right behind us, old mates having a good old chat.
Their next loans with their next partners. So I just think that journey that you've gone on with so many people, when it's amicable, it's different. So if you know it's a 50-50 split, you can go to your lawyer, because it was probably still going to have to go through and get stamped, but you can go through and have those things, you know what you're dealing with. Can I get approval? Can I get a valuation? What's the value of the property? Before you're going to a lawyer to say, here's what we've agreed on. Can you sign this off for us? Because it is important to have it signed off legally, because you still need to get stamp duty concessions and all of those sorts of orders in place.
Yeah, and that's really important. Because you would go to your lawyer to buy someone out, because as you said, Rach, moving that title, you don't have to pay half of the property in stamp duty because you're buying 50 of the property.
But if you did that without those particular legal orders in place, you may be subject to stamp duty. So you need a lawyer, even if it's completely amicable, you do need a lawyer. But I guess if it wasn't amicable or if you didn't understand what that split would be, it's sometimes worthwhile to reach out to a lawyer and get a little bit of advice. Just because you reach out and talk to a lawyer doesn't mean you have to go to court or have a legal dispute. You just want to understand what you're dealing with before you start. But yeah, my big advice to Kat, it was definitely to go to her mortgage broker, get those valuations done rather than real estates, and understand if you can borrow and if your partner can borrow before you go to that lawyer and get that all finalised.
Okay. So if I am Kat's partner and we're separating and Kat wants to buy me out, let's just assume that the property, we'll call it $1 million, right?
Yeah.
Forget the debt on it at the moment. I obviously want a reasonable buyout. So it has to be, so it's in my interest to get a higher valuation because I'm selling higher, but it's also in the I'm the seller, sorry.
Yeah.
So it's in my interest to get a higher valuation, but it would be in Kat's interest to get a lower valuation. And we know that bank valuations would usually be maybe 20% lower than an agent walking in the door and saying this is the current market valuation. So the question is, and that's why I was talking about mechanisms.
Yeah.
Do we say we'll get 2 bank vals, we'll get 3 random agents? Because it just has to be an agreement. Like they could, and also in terms of, I don't know, separation parity, there could be a thing where he sells it to her for less, but there is some money in super that he will keep, or because it's not just black and white if there's other assets, right? It's a pool.
Yeah, so I was just reading this in the property thing, but obviously because before you agree to anything, you really need to understand the whole asset pool.
That's
right.
And
really, that's where a lawyer comes in. But I just think before you go down that law road, it's nice to know, can I borrow and what's the property worth? Because then you can go to the lawyer with all that information.
Yeah. So if Kat called you, she's basically saying, hey, there's $1 million property here. I want to put it in my name. It would mean that I would end up with, I'll make a number up, $700,000 in debt. And can I actually service this loan?
Yeah, because what's the point of going through this whole process if A, you can't borrow that much on your own, or B, you actually don't want to service a debt of that size?
Or and this is where it really gets complicated fast, there could be some type of thing where it's one, the property would have to get sold completely.
Yep.
If Kat couldn't service a mortgage. 2, there might need to be an agreement where, and this is where the lawyer really comes in to say, I'm selling it for over to Kat, X amount, lower of whatever, so Kat can service the loan, assuming there's equity. But there may need to be some type of tenancy agreement put in that the moment this property sells, old mate then gets the rest of the money or something like that. Because remember with wills and estates, the lifetime tenancy agreement?
Yes.
So for example, when my pop cheated on Nan with the grocer secretary, or the checkout chick at the grocery store or whatever, she kept the house and lived in it. And there was a lifetime tenancy agreement that she could live in that house for as long as she wants. But as soon as she died, then the house goes to the kids, or if she moves out, she keeps half of the value and the other half goes to my uncles and aunts and my dad.
Yeah.
So there could be some things there, and that's what I'd probably say. Reach out to Sphere Home Loans, Rach.
No, Kat has a mortgage broker.
Okay, cool.
But just reach out to your mortgage broker and work through it. But that would be
because that's
my
obviously
first
the
point
first step, isn't it?
It's the first step. Get the valuations done, understand your borrowing capacity and what you can do and your affordability. Because then when you're spending that hourly rate talking to a lawyer, you kind of understand, do I want to buy him out? Because you don't want to spend all that money talking to a lawyer if actually that's not the course of action we're going to take. So you look your mortgage broker first and then the lawyer.
Because I just kind of want to say, if you go back to your broker and you can't service, because I think Kat will be able to in this situation just reading it, but if you can't service it, I just want to say there could be other solutions if there are other assets and equalization and potentially some type of tenancy agreement or something.
Yeah.
But that's the dance, isn't it? It's like, if it isn't amicable, I don't want to talk to this cockhead in 8 years when I sell the house. I want nothing to do with the guy.
Yeah.
But I think the just coming in as a bit of a tennis net here with two tennis players.
While you do that, I'm going to go get some cough drops because I'm losing my voice.
The risk, when Kat says 50-50, let's be honest, it's never 50-50.
Yeah.
Like, it's 49-51 or it's 70-30 or whatever. But for the sake of the conversation, the interesting part with separations is bank val versus real estate agents' appraisals.
Yeah.
And where that middle ground lies, and where, like, you almost want to get real estate agents, stay out of it. Bank val, let's get 3 of them and split the middle.
Even 3 of them. But I really get worried when I see people say, I'm getting the real estate agent to give me this advice.
Yeah.
And I work with a lot of real estate agents. I have a lot of respect for them. But what their job is to market a property.
Yeah.
They are not qualified to value a property. That's a property valuer.
But that's the difference as well. Like, you get some agents, they'll blaze in going, we can get 1.2 for you, Cat, all day long. Sign them up. We reset expectations in 2 months. Look, the market's changed. We've got to bring it down, and you might only get $1 million. And they're already, like, it's just
especially
ridiculous.
In Melbourne.
Yeah.
So I think it depends at which side of the fence you're on as to whether you want the val to be high or low. So if we're true 50-50, we're getting 3 bank vals, don't talk to real estate agents, and the middle of those 3 bank vals is the agreed price.
Yeah.
End of story.
But that's not fair for old mate who's selling it.
See, I think
Well, it doesn't matter, it
I
is.
think a bank
No,
valuation.
because if we sold the bastard on market, it's going to do more than the bank val anyway.
It's not certain the other way. Either.
Yeah, I
That's
think
not
a bank
50-50.
val is a
Or,
fair
Like, a real
valuation.
estate agent
Yeah.
puts 10% above because that's what they're legally allowed to do, or 9.5%.
Yeah.
And so, like, now old mate's paid 10%
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah, it's
Like,
different in a
I
rising
think
market.
it's probably that dance as well. I might walk back some of my comments. Probably won't, but I will.
yeah, you should.
It's not it's private sale anyway. So the real market doesn't mean anything.
Well, and this
Ish.
is like, sounds like Cat's at the very early stages.
Yeah.
And it's all roses at the minute. Well, not really roses, but it's the separation's early. It can very...
You're like a rose between 2 thorns right now, aren't you?
I am in the minute. They call me a net in the middle of a tennis court.
Yeah, good one.
So it can turn south or sour pretty quick because you're looking at a situation where you might get legal involved, you get real estate agent involved, you get mum, you get a cousin, you get the next door neighbour, and all of a sudden everyone's got their 2 cents worth. And it's like, no, it's worth $1 million. No, it's only worth $950.
And I probably would say it might be safer to only use bank vals because Cat can only borrow based on the bank val to service
100%.
anyway.
And real estate...
I'm just sticking up for old mate.
Real estate vals can go rogue.
I don't know.
Well...
They can go rogue.
Yeah.
A real estate agent might come in and think he's competing against 3 other agents. You want to be the highest, don't you?
I didn't tell you guys. I had a property valued 2 weeks ago at Snakehaven, 12 months after the last val last year. What do you reckon the percent increase or decrease?
15% increase.
What do you reckon?
In 12 months?
Yeah, Snakehaven.
Oh, no, I would go... Well, it sounds though it's going to be something big because he's mentioned it.
Oh, no, I was just shocked. And it's just a really good example of markets and timings.
Of the increase, you mean?
Of the valuation. It's just a really good example.
Yeah. I would say 10% up.
Yeah. Negative 15%
Wow.
the year before. Now, this is an example. It's a townhouse.
Yeah.
It's a 3-2-1.
That surprises
Now,
me.
and this is, yes,
So what was
But
it based on? Was it realistic comparables?
comparables in the area. So remember.
Same suburb?
Same, like everything. So remember, kids, doesn't property always go up in value? And this is why when we hold any assets,
Yeah.
we have to have it for the long term.
Yeah.
And I can maybe guarantee if I have a look myself online at sales in the next 6 months, 12 months, we'll send them back out there and there probably will be comparables, and it might be
But
15 or 20% more.
I'd be interested to see if you got two other bank vals, what they would say as well from two different valuation firms, because it's not uncommon for there be a 10 to 20% difference in valuation.
And I've seen it where people disagree on the value, and the only way they will move forward is by a sale.
Yeah.
And I've also seen that sale come through at exactly what that bank valuation was.
And that that's sort of where I was alluding with Kat. Hopefully it doesn't have to get to this stage and they can get a resolution and it remains 50-50. But if all else fails, if no one can agree, we're going to market and the market will tell us what it's worth.
Exactly.
And there's a 50-50 goal.
And you can always have the option. I've also seen couples go, we want to take it to auction. And then the person who wanted to buy out said, well, this is, and actually the market told you it's worth this. Now I've got the option to buy that
potentially if it is amicable and the cat can't service for a reason, if it is amicable, hey, can we kick this can down the road for 12 months? I'll rent half of it off you, old mate.
Yeah.
So there's always a solution.
There's always solutions, but good luck with that, Cat.
Good luck, Cat. Hey, it's Glenn here. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You made it to the end. Can I ask a favor? Can you hit that like button and maybe hit subscribe if you want to get notified when we release further videos just like this one, whether you watch the Money, Money, Money podcast or Retire Right. And remember, if you want to learn more about investing, I've got an investing book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, and there's a link in the description to get your hands on a copy. Thank you so much. Bye.